Hello, this is Vicki reporting for This Week in Britain from a pub with no beer. Don't worry, Prohibition has not arrived. This pub has been built for export. In fact, it's disappearing before my very eyes. It's the work of a company who create typically English pub interiors for home and for overseas. They're shipped out in kit form to be reassembled on site in many parts of the world, some as unlikely as Zaire and Japan. They call themselves the pub makers. This quaint rural inn is an example of their work. There's nothing more mellow than an English country pub. Its very timelessness creates an atmosphere of harmony and good fellowship. It all looks very authentic, doesn't it? They say if you knock on wood, it brings you luck. But if you did that here at the Blind Beggar, you might be out of luck, because these old oak beams are actually fiberglass. And this quaint pub is situated in the heart of London's East End, alongside the busy Whitechapel street market. The Blind Beggar used to be a real dive with a notorious reputation. It was the haunt of criminals and the scene of a gangland shooting when it looked like this. But not all of its present customers feel the place has changed for the better.
There are too many little ingle nooks and crannies that are rather dark and unfriendly.
The overall effect, I think, is reasonably pleasing.
I think it's very well done, well put together, but it's trying for me to be something in the town that it isn't. It's trying to be a country pub, which, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't work that well.
I don't really like it. I liked it the way it was.
I think it's very nice indeed. I like it very much.
The Pub Makers is run by the Rogers family, who have been suppliers of equipment to the licensing trade for 130 years. And I asked the present head of the company, John Rogers, whether, in view of his background, he really liked fiberglass pubs.
We have to compromise. We use glass fiber because it looks like the old beams. We have no troubles like woodworm and wood rot, but the surface appearance is exactly the same as the Elizabethan beams. The British pub is something that is very dear to the heart of the English people, and we are very happy to pass it on to other people in the world.
And this is done by means of these fiberglass modular panels, creating interiors from Regency to Jacobean. And British pubs seem to be as popular abroad as they are at home. Japan, for example, has just imported its 36th pub. But not everything John Rogers touches is false and fiberglass. The Albert, near, appropriately, Victoria Station, was shabby and run down. John Rogers decided to use any traditional materials in restoring this Victorian pub, and he has created an interior that looks as if it has never changed for 100 years. This old pub was just an ordinary backstreet local. Now it has been restored to a grandeur that surpasses anything its original customers would have seen in Queen Victoria's day. It's pure fantasy, isn't it? On a grey London day, you can turn up the central heating and pretend you're the Memsahib back from the shoot in time for tiffin. It's all too whimsical for my taste. I prefer the Albert, although it's only almost real. And if I hadn't known, I think I would have accepted the Blind Beggar as the genuine article. But genuine or not, it's not the decor that makes the pub, it's the people, isn't it? Cheers. This is Vicki Luke signing off for This Week in Britain from Whitechapel in London.